Hello and welcome back to the Mind Garden, episode 3 of Mindscaping. I think that's what we're going to call the initial episodes because we are mindscaping and interpreting a reality through mindscaping. However, let's talk about today's key words. Today's key words are masking and status anxiety. So once again, masking. That's a new phrase that's being used at the moment within mindfulness, psychology, psychiatry. It comes from almost the word personality. Now, if you think the word personality comes from the word persona, persona was something you take a persona when you go onto stage. And so there's something for you to think about. How often are we masking? How often are we creating a persona? I've been through it myself, and I've had to unravel my own delusions. It took some time, but we all have to do it if we want to have a purity of consciousness. Now let's take ourselves to the second key word, which is key phrase, which is status anxiety. Status anxiety is something we all would have suffered with. It's where we want to be accepted by society, and it comes from having a certain status. If you don't have a certain status within your social circles, what's going to happen is you're going to feel that you're not being accepted and you have to almost elevate your status. So once again, how does that elevation take place? I'd say masking is a big part of status anxiety. They're very deeply interlinked. So let's now take ourselves back to day one of our lives. We have a phenomena called consciousness, and there's two types of consciousness: unconditioned consciousness and conditioned consciousness. When we come into the world, we are unconditioned consciousness, a very pure state. And then we take straight away, as soon as we come out, we're being conditioned by our moms, our dads, our close families, by mental impressions. And those are experiences that are molding our very realities. Our consciousness is becoming conditioned. And so there, we have to start to look back. This is why in psychology they get you to regress through your childhood. And so you don't have to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. You can do it yourself. You can look at how you became conditioned and how you became the person you are today. And the question you have to ask yourself: do you suffer with masking and status anxiety? Masking and status anxiety. And those are a culmination of all our mental impressions, the way we've digested them, and then that is then our interpreted reality. And so it's so important to digest this whole conditioned consciousness and unconditioned consciousness, and the two key words, which were masking and status anxiety. I'm going to keep this video very short. Let me know what you think of these phrases. Have you heard of them? What do you think about them? What is your response to them? And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about, using this book, how we can then look to purify our consciousness, heal our consciousness. So once again, conditioned consciousness and unconditioned consciousness. I've got those phrases from this book, Ayurveda and the Mind. This is not my work. My work is about unraveling a very complex reality and interpretation of that complex reality. I want us to all be free and be able to think for ourselves. It's so important not to be a slave to someone else's thinking, or a slave to somebody else's behavior, or a slave to your environment. It's important to be awake, just so that you can have a peace of mind. Shanti, peace, is one of the things I say most in my classes when I train. Those of you who know me, Shanti is where I'm trying to get to. It's a very hard place to get to, peace. And that's where I'm going to get you to: being content, being okay to sit in a state of silence for a minute. And that's important. Otherwise, we are just lost in the matrix. And on that note, thank you for your time. Get back to me on those phrases. Let me know what you think. If you see me, drop me a comment. Not having lots of engagement online, or getting engagement now. Well, a little bit of engagement online now. However, I'm getting more engagement when I see people. This is creating food for thought, food for conversation, and that's what this is about. So I want to unite the tribes by healing people's collective consciousness. On that note, peace, love, respect, lifelong learning. Thank you for your time.